Hello again. This is actually part 2 of my previous video on whether or not you should ask permission before taking photographs. The reason I'm doing a part 2 is because if you've watched the first part of this topic, you will have seen that I showed 5 pictures where I asked permission to take the picture before taking the picture. And I took 5 pictures, or I showed 5 pictures where I didn't ask, I just took the picture without asking permission. And I was looking at the comparison between the two results. But just after I made that video, the very next day in fact, from the lab, I actually got back a picture, or a set of pictures, 2 pictures, and I've actually never ever done this before, and it actually, I think, really illustrates the point of asking versus not asking. What happened was that I actually took a picture of a girl who was in a coffee shop, well, sitting outside a coffee shop. I took a picture before asking her, and then I actually asked her if I could take her picture. So what we have is very unusual. It's never happened to me before. Usually I either ask or I don't ask, and I just take the picture. But here I have an example of the same girl in the same exact situation, but one picture is taken before asking, and then the second picture is taken after asking. And I think the results are really interesting. So ignore the photo itself. I wouldn't say it's one of my best pictures, but I think the purpose of this set of pictures is really just to show the difference between asking and not asking, the outcome, the actual finished product. So here are the 2 pictures. So on the left, you can see this is the picture that I took before asking for permission. And although it looks like it's posed because she's looking right at me, this is actually a very common trick that a lot of street photographers use when you want to have eye contact with the subject but without asking. What I did was, because she was actually looking at her phone, while she wasn't noticing, I actually did the focusing and everything, set all the camera to the correct settings before she noticed me, and then I just stood there waiting for her to finally look up, and the very second that she looked up, I clicked the shutter. So that's why you've got the picture of her looking directly at me, even though it's not a posed picture. So in the second picture, so after that happened, and because the shutter's so quiet on these twin lens reflex cameras, I don't think she knew that I actually took a picture. It's very, very silent. So then what I did is I said, "Oh, excuse me, would it be possible to take your picture?" And what happened was, of course, she said, "Yes, of course, no problem." But as soon as I asked, she changed her whole sort of positioning and everything. She sat up straight. She adjusted her dress, and I think you can see that in the 2 pictures there is a slight difference. So I think the first picture is a lot more natural, and you can even see her little sort of shoes or slippers or whatever it is she's wearing, which are quite cute. And when I asked her to take the picture, she adjusted everything and actually covered up her feet or her footwear, which so you can't see it anymore. So I think that, I'm not saying one picture is better than the other, but I think it's a very clear example of how when you ask someone, it usually changes the scene. And I think these 2 pictures really show that really well. So that's why I wanted to shoot this video as a kind of follow-up to that last video. And if you haven't seen that last video, you can click here, and I'll put a link in the description as well. Okay, so as usual, tell me what you think. What did you think? Did you like the first picture without asking permission better, or did you prefer the posed one? And please do share any of your own experiences that you've had with these kinds of situations. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.